Great day, Star Louisians. Welcome to the 8th week of our video discussion. In the previous discussion, you have learned that multiplying polynomials is a bit more challenging than adding and subtracting polynomials. We must use the distributive property to multiply each term in the first polynomial by each term in the second polynomial. And then after that, we then combine like terms. Remember that when a monomial is being multiplied by another monomial, their product will always be a monomial. What will you do with the coefficients? The coefficients of the monomials are being multiplied together, and then the variables are also multiplied. While multiplying a polynomial by a monomial is just using the distributive property to turn the problem into a bunch of monomials being multiplied. This week, you will learn how to divide polynomials. Just as we can divide numbers, we can also divide polynomials. In dividing polynomials, you have to always remember that division of polynomials may look difficult, but it follows the same rules we have already learned for properties of real numbers as well as for division of real numbers. Take note that division is one of the fundamental operations in arithmetic. And this process now is also linked to the concept of fractions. Let us recall now the quotient of powers of the same base is obtained by subtracting their exponents. So with this activity, match the expressions in column 1 and column 2 that have the same meaning. We are going to recall the concept of the quotient of powers. Now, using one of the laws of exponents, that is the quotient rule, which states that if you are dividing powers with the same base, keep the base and subtract the exponents. Therefore, if we try to answer now this short activity, we have now, under column 1, we have a raised to m. Number 1, we have a raised to m divided by a raised to n. We all know that under quotient rule, they have the same bases. So what are we going to do with the base? Keep the common base. And what will you do with the exponents? We have to subtract them. So we have a raised to m minus n. So the answer here, if we try to look under column 2, 1 is under letter E. Okay? Same is true with number 2, a raised to m minus n was being duplicated. Still under letter E, a raised to m minus n. How about for number 3, a raised to n divided by a raised to n? Following the rule under quotient rule, which states that if you are dividing powers with the same base, you have to keep the base, which is a, and then what will you do with the exponents? You have to subtract them. So n minus n. And this will give you now a raised to n minus n, that will give you 0. Recalling the concept of zero exponents, any variable or any expression that is being raised to 0 is always equal to 1. Therefore, the answer for number 3 is letter A. While for number 4, we have now 2m cubed over 3m raised to 5. Still, applying the quotient rule, divide the numerical coefficients. 2 divided by 3. It is already in its simplest form, so we just need to copy the numerical coefficients. And then m raised to 3 over m raised to 5. That will give you 2 over 3m squared. So the answer is 2 over 3m squared. That's letter C. While for number 5, we have 4 over 6. It can still be simplified in its simplest form because they still contain, what do you call this one? A common factor, which is 2. Both are still divisible by 2. So 4 divided by 2, that will give you 2. While 6 divided by 2, that will give you 3. And then m raised to 9 over n raised to 4, can we divide m raised to 9 by n raised to 4? No, we cannot, because different terms cannot be divided. So we just need to copy m raised to 9 over n raised to 4. So our final answer would be 2m raised to 9 over 3n raised to 4. And it cannot be found under the choices, therefore this should be our final answer. Okay, 2m raised to 9 over 3n raised to 4. So that's how you recall now the concept of quotient rule, that when you are dividing powers with the same base, you have to keep the base and subtract the exponents. We now proceed to the concept of dividing a monomial by a monomial. There are different steps that you need to follow when you are dividing a monomial by a monomial. Let's start with our first example. 18x raised to 5 divided by 6x squared. So what is the first step? You have to divide the numerical coefficients together and the literal coefficients together. So as you can see here, we have 18 over 6. Where did we get 6? It's the divisor. Okay? The numerical coefficient of the divisor. And then we have now keep the base and subtract the exponent. So 18 divided by 6 times x raised to 5 over x raised to 2. So 18 divided by 6, yung numerical coefficients together muna ang pag-divide nyo. And then after that, the literal coefficients. Whatever is the quotient of the two numerical coefficients, you multiply it to the quotient of the literal coefficients. We have x raised to 5 and x raised to 2. Kaya po may nakikita na kayo ditong x raised to 5 divided by x raised to 2. And then we divide now. This will give us 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. While x raised to 5 divided by x raised to 2, following now the quotient rule, keep the base, keep the common base and subtract the exponents, it will give us now a quotient of 3x cubed. So don't forget to always simplify your final answer. So that's under dividing a monomial by a monomial. First is you have to divide the numerical coefficients together and the literal coefficients. Second, keep the base and subtract the exponents, following now the concept of quotient rule. And lastly, do not forget to simplify your answer. Next example, 12m raised to 7 divided by 2m squared. Following still the rules I have presented a while ago, we have 12 divided by 2, numerical muna ang i-divide natin, numerical of the dividend and the divisor. So 12 divided by 2 times m raised to 7 over m raised to 2. So numerical coefficients together and literal coefficients together. So that will give us now 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6, and then m raised to 7 divided by m raised to 2. Get the difference of the exponents. So m now is equal to 5. So our final answer would be equal to 6m raised to 5. Next, 48, a raised to 13, b raised to 11 divided by 12, a raised to 7, b raised to 7. Still, the rules that you are going to use are, first, you have to divide the numerical coefficients together and the literal coefficients together. And that will bring us now negative 48 divided by 12. Whatever is the quotient, you multiply it to the literal coefficients, to the quotient of the literal coefficient of a raised to 13 over a raised to 7. Same is true with b raised to 11 over b raised to 7. Simplifying now, this will give us negative 48 divided by 12. That will give us a quotient of negative 4. And then a raised to 13 divided by a raised to 7. That applies now the concept of quotient rule. Keep the common base, which is a, and then subtract the exponent, 13 minus 7. Same with b raised to 11 over b raised to 7. That will bring us now b raised to 11 minus 7. And then simplify, we have now negative 4. The difference of 13 and 7 is 6, while the difference of 11 and 7 is 4. And that will give us now the final answer, negative 4a raised to 6b raised to 4. When you are to divide now negative 48, a raised to 13, b raised to 11 by 12, a raised to 7, b raised to 7. Okay, so that's under dividing a monomial by a monomial. 3x raised to 7, y raised to 9, divided by 7x raised to 7, y raised to 5. So what's the first thing that you need to do? We have to divide first the numerical coefficients, 3 over 7. And then whatever is the quotient, we multiply it to the literal coefficients. To the quotient of the literal coefficients, we have x raised to 7 over x raised to 7. We also have y raised to 9 over y raised to 5. This will give us now 3 divided by 7. It is already in its simplest form, so you just need to copy x raised to 7. This will give us x raised to 7 minus 7. And then y raised to 9 minus 5. Simplifying, this will give us now 3 over 7. X raised to 7 minus 7, that will give us x raised to 0. X raised to 0 times y raised to 9 minus 5, it will give us the difference of 4. And then we have now our final answer, 3y raised to 4 over 7. Why? Because x raised to 0, this now will become 1. Okay? So x raised to 0, any expression that is being raised to 0 is equal to 1. So 3 times 1 times y raised to 4 is 3y raised to 4. And then copy 7 as the denominator. Okay, so that's the concept now of dividing a monomial by a monomial. We now have dividing a polynomial by a monomial. So how do you divide now a monomial by a polynomial rather, by a monomial? Meaning, more than 3 terms divided by 1 term. Okay? So we now have the following example. The polynomial here is the dividend, while the divisor is the monomial. Okay, kapag sinabi nating polynomial, the expression is made up of more than 3 terms or 2 or more terms. And then, kapag sinabi nating monomial, 1 term lang po siya. Okay, just like with our first example, 18m minus 24 divided by 3. Okay, so we now have divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial. So there are 2 terms under polynomial. In each term of the given polynomial, you have to divide it to the monomial given. So 18m divided by 3 minus 24 divided by 3. That will give us the quotient now of 18 divided by 3. It's 6, break down m, minus 24 divided by 3. It's equal to 6m minus 8. Next example, 2a plus 4b plus 6c divided by 2. This time, we can see 3 terms under our polynomial given. So we just need to divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial given, which is equal to 2. So we have 2a divided by 2 plus 4b divided by 2 plus 6c divided by 2. Simplifying now, we have 2a divided by 2, that will give us a. Okay, bakit a na lang? We cancel 2 divided by 2, that will give us 1. While 4b divided by 2, that will give us 2b. 4 divided by 2, that will give us 2, bring down b. 6c divided by 2, that is 3c. So our final answer would be a plus 2b plus 3c. So that's the concept now of dividing a polynomial by a monomial. Next, how about if we have now 25x raised to 9, y raised to 8 plus 40x raised to 7, y raised to 5 divided by 5x squared y cubed. Okay? The same thing that you are going to apply, you just need to divide each term of the polynomial by the given monomial. So we now have 25x raised to 9y raised to 8 divided by 5x squared y cubed. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to identify the terms given in the polynomial. Ano ba yung binigay na terms doon sa polynomial? So meron tayong 25x raised to 9y raised to 8 at positive 40 x raised to 7y raised to 5. What will you do with the two terms of our polynomial given? We divide it to the given monomial. Ayan po. Kaya, ayan na po siya. 25x raised to 9y raised to 8 divided by 5x squared y cubed plus 40x raised to 7y raised to 5 over 5x squared y cubed. And this will bring us now to 25 divided by 5, x raised to 9 over x raised to 2, y raised to 8 over y cubed plus 40 divided by 5 times x raised to 7 over x raised to 2 times y raised to 5 over y cubed. And this will give us our final answer, which is equal to 5x raised to 7 y raised to 5. 25 divided by 5, that will give us 5. X raised to 9 over x raised to 2. Following the concept of the quotient rule, we have x raised to 7. Same with y raised to 8 divided by y raised to 3, y raised to 5. And then bring down plus sign or the positive sign, and then 40 divided by 5, it's equal to 8 x raised to 5 y cubed. So when you divide 25 x raised to 9 y raised to 8 plus 40 x raised to 7 y raised to 5 by 5x squared y cubed, you will get a quotient of 5x raised to 7 y raised to 5 plus 8x raised to 5 y cubed. 24 x squared y cubed minus 8x raised to 4 y squared plus 16 x squared y squared divided by 4x squared y squared. Okay, so we apply the same rule. We divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial. How many terms can you see under our polynomial given? There are 3 terms. So first term, ayan po yung first term natin. And then the second term, lahatin nyo pati yung sign. And then the third term or the last term of the polynomial. So we have to divide each term by the given monomial. So we have now 24 x squared y cubed divided by 4x squared y squared minus 8x raised to 4y squared over 4x squared y squared plus 16x squared y squared divided by 4x squared y squared. Okay, then after that, we are now ready to divide. 24 divided by 4, this will give us a quotient of 6. X squared divided by x squared, magka-cancel na yan because x raised to 0, it will give us 1. Y cubed divided by y squared, it will give us a quotient of y. Minus 8 divided by 4, this will give us a quotient of 2. X raised to 4 divided by x raised to 2, you subtract the exponent and then bring down or copy the common base, which is x. For minus 2, it will give us a difference of 2. Y squared divided by y squared, cancel because it will give us a quotient of 1. And then plus 16 divided by 4, this will give us a quotient of 4. X squared divided by x squared, cancel. Y squared divided by y squared, cancel. Because their quotient will always be equal to 1. Why? Because 2 minus 8 will give us a difference of 0. And x raised to 0 and y raised to 0 is equal to 2. Therefore, our final answer would be equal to 6y minus 2x squared plus 4. Okay? So that's the concept now of dividing a polynomial by a monomial. We have now dividing a polynomial by a polynomial. I think this is the last case under division of polynomials. So we have divide 5x plus x squared plus 6 by x plus 2. Same with the first two cases, under dividing monomial by a monomial and dividing a polynomial by a monomial, you have to follow certain rule in order for you to perform now dividing or division of polynomial by another polynomial. So we have to rewrite first the problem in long division form with the terms arranged in descending order. So you have to arrange the terms given or the dividend in descending orders. And that will give you now x squared plus 5x plus 6. So inarrange natin yung given na 5x plus 6 plus x squared plus 6 because it's not in its standard form. Okay, we can say that the polynomial given is already in standard form when the terms of the given polynomial are already arranged in descending order. Okay, or the degree of the terms are being arranged in descending order. So we have x squared plus 5x plus 6 is the standard form of the given dividend, which is 5x squared plus x squared plus 6. Okay, then after that, what will you do next? You have to divide it by our divisor, which is x plus 2. And then step 2, divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor to find a particular quotient. So first term daw, we have to divide now the first term of the dividend. Saan ba yung first term ng dividend? Ito po yun. Okay, it's the x squared. By the first term of the divisor. Saan yung first term ng divisor? Ito po yun, yung x. Okay? So we have to divide x squared by x in order to find a particular quotient. So that will give us now, ayan, x squared divided by x, it's equal to x. Saan po ipupwesto yung x? Under doon sa kahilera niya ng degree. Okay? So, pinesto ko siya under 5x. Okay? Inalign ko siya under the second term of the dividend. Why? Because they have the same degree, which is 1. Okay? Hindi pwedeng under dun sa line ng x squared kasi magkaiba sila ng degree. Okay? So, always remember na kapag kumukuha kayo ng quotient using the long division method, i-align nyo yung quotient doon sa kahilera niya ng degree or with same degree. Okay? So, we have now x squared divided by x, it will give us x. Okay? And then, what's the next step after that one? We have now multiply the divisor by the particular quotient and write the product below the dividend, then subtract and bring down the next term of the dividend. And then the step 4, we have to divide the first term of the new divisor, or dividend rather, by the first term of the divisor. And after that, we multiply the result by the divisor and write the product below the new dividend. And then subtract. The process continues until all terms of the dividend are used up. So we have now, may I solve using the different steps presented. X squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by x plus 2. That's the second step a while ago is we have to divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. So x squared divided by x, it will give us x. And then we multiply now the divisor, okay, by the first term, or the first quotient rather, by the first quotient, and then write the terms of the product under the similar terms. So we have to multiply x times x. Saan po natin ipapwesto yan? Dun sa under the, write the terms of the product under the similar terms. So x squared. Then x times x squared, and x times 2, that will give us positive 2x. And then what will we do? We have to subtract them. So x squared minus x squared, that will give us 0. 5x minus positive 2x, that will give us positive 3x. And then we bring down plus or positive 6. And then after that, ano ang next natin? We have to divide the first term of our new dividend. Ito na po yung new dividend natin. Okay? Kung i-divide daw natin yung first term niya sa first term ng divisor. So, we have to divide 3x by x. So, 3x divided by x, that will give us positive 3. Cancel na yung x na yan. So, we have positive 3. So, don't forget to use the sign or the symbol plus, then 3. Okay, and then what will we do? We multiply it once again to the divisor given. So 3 times x, that will give us 3x. 3 times positive 2, that will give us positive 6. And then we subtract our answer. This will give us now 3x minus 3x, it's 0. And 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. Therefore, the quotient now is equal to x plus 3. Okay. So when you divide x squared plus 5x plus 6 by x plus 2, this will give us a quotient of x plus 3. Okay, how about if we have negative 21 plus 11x plus 2x squared by x plus 7? So we divide negative 21 plus 11x plus 2x squared by x plus 7. The first thing that you need to do is you have to arrange the terms in descending order, or make it sure that the polynomial given is already in its standard form. So we have now the standard form of the given dividend is 2x squared plus 11x minus 21. After that one, what will you do next? Of course, you have to divide it by x plus 7. So we have now divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor to find a particular quotient. So 2x squared divided by x, that will give you now 2x. Okay? I-align nyo siya under 11x kasi they are of similar terms. So 2x squared divided by x, it will give us 2x. Next, we now have step 3. Multiply the divisor by the particular quotient and write the product below the dividend. Then subtract and bring down the next term of the dividend. Next, we have after that one, you have to divide the first term of the new dividend by the first term of the divisor, and then multiply the result by the divisor, write the product below the new dividend, then subtract. And then the process will always continue until all terms of the dividend are used up. That is, we have now 2x squared plus 11x minus 21 divided by x plus 7. It will give us, following the second step, that you have to divide the first term of the dividend to the first term of the divisor, which is 2x squared divided by x will give us now 2x. And then after that one, we have to multiply this one, the 2x, to the first term of the divisor. 2x times x, it will give us a product of 2x squared. And then 2x plus 7x, it will give us a product of 14x. And then we subtract. So 2x squared minus 2x squared, 0 na po yan, cancel. 11x minus 14x, it will give us negative 3x. And then we bring down negative 21. And then, what will we do next? We divide the first term of the new dividend. Ito na po yung bago nating dividend. You have to identify its first term. It's negative 3x divided by x. Negative 3x. Okay, don't forget to carry the sign of the new dividend, of the first term of the new dividend. So negative 3x divided by the first term of our divisor, which is x. So negative 3x divided by x, magka-cancel na po yung dalawang x. So ang natira po is negative 3. So minus 3 po dyan sa taas. Okay, so negative 3, and then we multiply it to the divisor. Negative 3 times x, it will give us negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 7, it will give us negative 21. And then, subtract. Okay? Don't forget the rule under subtraction. Copy, opposite, change. Negative 3x minus negative 3x magiging negative 3x plus 3x na siya. So, 0 na yan. And then, negative 21 plus 21 is equal to 0. Therefore, the quotient when you divide 2x squared plus 11x minus 21 by x plus 7 is equal to 2x minus 3. So that's how you deal with dividing a polynomial by a polynomial. Last example under dividing polynomial by a polynomial before we shall end our discussion. Say for example, we have x plus 12x squared minus 35 by 3x minus 5. So what's the first step? You have to rewrite the problem in long division form with terms arranged in descending order. Of course, we try to look at the dividend, our dividend, check if it is already in its standard form. It's not yet in its standard form, so we have to rewrite it in its standard form. So we have 12x squared plus x minus 35. This is the standard form of our given dividend. Then we have to rewrite it now in long division form. So 12x squared plus x minus 35 is our dividend or yung nasa loob nung division symbol, and then divided by our divisor, which is 3x minus 5. After that one, we divide the first term of our dividend, which is 12x squared, by the first term of our divisor, which is 3x. So we have 12x squared over 3x. This will give us a quotient of 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. X squared divided by x, applying the quotient rule. Keep the common base, which is x, and then subtract the exponent. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, the quotient when you divide 12x squared divided by 3x is 4x. So you just need to write it here under column nung x. Okay? And then we multiply 4x times 3x, it's equal to 12x squared. 4x times negative 5, it's equal to negative 20x. And then we subtract. So we now have 12x squared minus 12x squared, that will give us 0. X minus negative 20x, 12x squared minus 12x squared, so we have 0. X minus 20x, this should be equal to, we copy opposite pala, okay? So this should be positive 21x. I'm sorry for that one. Okay, so we have 21x minus 35, and then positive 21x divided by 3x, that will give you now positive 7. So this should be positive 7. Okay, so we have 7 times 3x is equal to positive 21x, and then 7 times negative 5, this should be negative 35. It's not positive. Okay, just erase. So this should be negative 35. And then we subtract. This will give us 21x minus 21x is 0. Negative 35 minus negative 35, copy opposite, change, it's equal to 0. So our final answer would be the quotient when you divide 12x squared plus x minus 35 by 3x minus 5 is 4x plus 7. Okay, so that's under dividing a polynomial by another polynomial. So always remember that when you divide polynomials, dividing monomial by a monomial, you have to divide the numerical coefficients together and the literal coefficients together. After which, you have to keep the base and subtract the exponents, applying now the quotient rule. Then always simplify your answer. While for dividing polynomial by a monomial, you have to divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial. Then you have to proceed to the different steps in dividing monomials. And lastly, in dividing polynomial by another polynomial, rewrite the problem in long division form with the terms that are being arranged in descending order, or check if it is already in its standard form. After that one, you divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. And always write the quotient above the similar term. After which, you have to multiply the divisor by the first coefficient, and don't forget to write the terms of the product under the similar terms. And then, subtract the product from the dividend. The difference, together with the remaining terms, is the new dividend. And you have to repeat now the steps using the new dividend and the same divisor. Do this now until the degree of the remainder is less than that of the divisor. or when the remainder now is equal to 0. So that's all for dividing polynomials or the division of polynomials. Thank you and have a good day, everyone.